Ooh, spinning thrust kick. Hi guys, welcome to Fighting Words, the martial arts library. My name is Joe, and on this channel I review martial arts books and talk about other martial arts related subjects. This is a segment I call Media Fight Monday. So on the first and third Monday of every month, I take a fight scene from movies, television, or animation, and I break it down and then give it a grade based on realism and storytelling value. Well, we're sort of stretching the realism today because we are looking at a fight scene from a sci-fi television show, which is Star Trek Voyager. This is from the episode Tsunkatse, and it features the character 7 of 9, who is a cybernetically augmented human. She is a former member of a group, it's hard to say species, called the Borg, who are all cybernetic. And she is facing off against the champion, who is played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Now, the reason for having The Rock in a sci-fi show was because these were both television shows on UPN, and this was Sweeps Week, so they were trying to sort of like have a crossover. I'm a fan of pro wrestling and science fiction, but I don't know how common that Venn diagram crossover is, right? My understanding is that it was the most highly rated of the episodes during that season, but I don't know if it kept any of the audience. Jeri Ryan did some of her own work here. However, her stunt double is Dana He, who, before getting into stunts, was an Olympic gold medalist in Taekwondo. You know, from 1988, when it was still a demonstration sport. You know, she'd also studied Shotokan in the past, and when she got into stunts and movies, she studied things like capoeira, kung fu, jiu-jitsu, etc. And The Rock is The Rock. You're going to see pro wrestling moves here. Pro wrestlers are, in a lot of ways, very much like stunt folks. You know, they go on and they put on like a live stunt fight, you know, every time you see them. Now, as part of the background, 7 of 9 does not wish to actually engage in this fight. So she's sort of holding back. And one thing we don't know, her crew doesn't know that she's supposed to be here, so they're surprised to see her in this arena. And further, they're not actually in this arena. As it turns out, this is being broadcast, and what they're seeing in the arena are holograms. It's not really going to come up too much, but it's going to come a point where it's going to look like the fighters have like static coursing through them. That's when the broadcast is being interfered with. They have glowing gloves, basically, as well as foot pads, and those are meant to strike targets on their chest and on their back, and those send a shock through the opponent and do more damage. Alright, so he faked high and went low, hit her target on her chest. It's a hook that misses. She's still trying to talk him out of it. Fakes low, goes high. Spins and punches. That was a thrust kick. So, storyline wise, we can see how he's sort of using his greater mass to sort of force her, you know, back. And yeah, like The Rock, as he was better known at the time, it's like legitimately about 260, 270 pounds, which made him probably over twice the mass of either Jeri Ryan or Dana He, her stunt double. Hook kick. Looks like she intercepted with a punch of her own that time. Side kick, round kick to the target. Still trying to talk him out of it. He just clotheslines her because he's a pro wrestler. Ooh, jumping front kick. It's another big punch. Here's the thing. If you are the smaller fighter, why are you standing in front? I mean, I understand why. Because they had a small venue to work with. They didn't have a whole lot of different camera angles, and they probably didn't have a whole lot of time to set up the fight scene. This was a weekly TV show. But you really shouldn't be standing directly in front of someone who's that much bigger. I think a more trained person, we'd see, some more lateral movement and some evasiveness. Yeah, you can see they're starting to fade in and out there. Oof, hook and she's down. Irish whip. Not really. Wrongs along the edge. Ugh. So, it looked like she missed with a kick, but squared up, so he was able to get a punch to the chest, and we saw that shock go through her body. Just grabbed her by the head and dumped her. Again, this is really playing to like how gigantic this dude is. Exchanging punches. Yeah, like there's no way if he throws a body shot that she's just gonna like block it. Cybernetically enhanced or not, I don't think that that's how it's going to work out. Maybe I should suspend my disbelief for this. Ooh, spinning thrust kick. She has the opportunity to end it, but doesn't take it. Pays for it by getting a kick to the gut. Another big punch. Spinning back fist is blocked. Smacks the rear target and hits a rock bottom before punching her in her chest. Hitting the target, that's it. Realism. I'm trying to keep the realism in the realm of this particular universe. If we have fantastical elements, let's at least make sure that they are playing within their own rules, right? 7 of 9, we can go, okay, she might be stronger than someone with, like a 120-pound frame, but cybernetics does not mean entirely mechanical. We don't know of all of her augmentations, like her left eye is completely fake. We see that in a different episode where they like take it out. But there's still a lot of flesh and bone underneath there, so she's still, in a lot of ways, she's just a human with some hardware added, right? And even if you have cybernetically augmented muscles, the bones that are going to support that are still going to be like human bones, right? As far as the action goes, I'm glad that they kept that grounded, but as far as being able to stand in front of someone twice your size and successfully block their punches, that is not very realistic, even in this environment. If a C is average, I'm going to give this a D. As far as storytelling goes, this was actually meant to have a lot of character in it, and of course had to cut off the audio, but there's a lot of her not wanting to fight him and just trying to resolve this, without it getting to that point. She doesn't want to use violence for the sake of violence. Storytelling wise, we are also seeing how she is using her legs a lot in this. The legs are going to be stronger. They're going to have greater range than the arms. So that wouldn't be a bad strategy if facing a larger opponent. The only downside is you are on one leg a little off balance. But I think storytelling wise, showing that emphasis on, consciously or not, I'm using these longer, stronger weapons against this larger opponent, that could be used to sort of play into her intelligence. And of course, he's just going out there, he's basically a brawler, just punch, 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 punch. His technique is less refined and more dependent on his size. I think we got a good sequence where she tried to, go around that outside perimeter, get a little bit of height on him. It didn't work out, but I appreciate that they showed that she was using the environment as much as she could. He also sort of used the environment by throwing her into the structure. Without the dialogue, there's not actually a whole lot here, but let's say it's a solid B. We did see elements of storytelling. I think if this had been in a feature film, we would have gotten a much better fight out of it, because they would have had more time to work on their stunts. They would have been able to work with more camera angles because of a bigger budget. I think it had a lot of potential. I don't think it really lived up to it to my satisfaction as, fan of martial arts and action films. I think Dana He, given her resume, had a lot of potential, but we didn't get the fight that it could have been. Oh, almost forgot to mention the fight choreographer, James Liu, who done one of his books here. Anyway, his background was in Kung Fu. He's been in a few movies. When I get to The Perfect Weapon, he's in a really good fight scene with that one. So I don't know when that's coming up, but I'm looking forward to doing it when I have the time to get to it. So anyway, that's all I have for this week. Again, Media Fight Mondays come out the first and third Monday of every month. If you enjoy this video and want to see more, I do have a playlist of Media Fight Mondays. Feel free to check that out. If you like to support the channel or request a specific fight scene for me to review, or just have me do a different video, please consider donating to my Ko-fi account. That's how I'm taking requests these days. And thank you for following along. I'll see you later.